Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Stack Bitcoin Show. My name is Roman. I am your beginner-friendly guide to saving in Bitcoin. We've been saving in Bitcoin here for 2 years. 2 years, 1 month, and 2 days, or 3 days, I think. So, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get started. And watch people as they come in. Do me a favor, as you come in, smack that like button. And let me know you're here. So comment something in the chat. Let's roll. All right. Today's episode, what? 439. Damn. Episode 439. We've been doing this. All right. Let's pop into the first segment of the day. Of course, that's called the Bitcoin Strength. Let's cue that up and get it started. The Bitcoin Strength. Today, the price of Bitcoin is $106,035. $106,035 even. You can buy 943 Satoshis for a single dollar today. What the heck is a Satoshi? A Satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin. Just like a dollar is made up of 100 cents, a Bitcoin is made up of 100 million Satoshis. So, why does that matter? It matters because if you're looking at buying Bitcoin and you see the price of $106,000, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, I'm priced out. And you're not priced out. Because you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin all at once. You can buy it in fractions. Okay, those fractions are called Satoshis. And those Satoshis are cheap. Okay, a dollar has 100 cents. A Bitcoin has 100 million Satoshis. So right now, at the current price of Bitcoin, you can buy 943 Satoshis for a single dollar. 943 fractions of a Bitcoin for a single dollar. And why would you buy a fraction of a Bitcoin if you can't have a whole Bitcoin? Well, because whatever value that you have set aside in Bitcoin, even if it's just $1 or $100 or $1,000, that value that's represented in terms of Bitcoin is now immune from inflation. It's shielded from inflation, so like it won't be debased, right? If you hold $100 for a year, right? You'll still have $100 in your bank account, right? But in a year, what will those $100 buy you? Will they still buy the same stuff it would buy you 2 years ago or a year ago? Probably not, right? If you take the $100 and you save them into Bitcoin instead of just holding the cash, a year later, it on average it'll be up about 50%. Okay, so that $100 that you saved in Bitcoin will be able to buy you $150 worth of stuff in the future. Okay, and the longer you hold it, the more purchasing power you gain, and the better it is for you, right? So that's why it makes sense to save in Bitcoin, how we do here on the show. So if you're new to Bitcoin, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Say hello in the comments. I will respond to all of your questions. And round of applause from the live studio audience going over to Duty in the house. What up, Duty? Round of applause for that. Round of applause for Dave. What's up, Dave? Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Over on TikTok. And of course, round of applause with the gong and the air horn for Mr. Hard Hodl in the house. What up, Hard Hodl? I see you on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys want to watch the spreadsheets and stuff that I put up on the screen, all the screenshots I'm talking about, you can head on over to stackbitcoinshow.com. It'll take you to the YouTube version of this live stream that's like in the horizontal format, and it includes the screenshots and charts that I'll be referring to during the show. So it's a better produced version of this show, but you can hang out here too. It's all good. Did I see a question? I didn't see a question. All right, cool. All right, let's keep it going. Saying hi to all these people. All right, let's go to the next segment of the show, which of course is why we stack. Super simple section of the show here. We basically describe for somebody that's new to Bitcoin why we should be saving in Bitcoin. And I kind of already did that a little bit, but let's go a little bit more deep into it, okay? The way the money works, okay? The way the money works is this way, okay? Money is supposed to represent value of the value of the economy, okay? So when you have an economy that can be represented in, we'll say $10, okay? The whole value is $10. So if you own $1 of those 10, you have 10% of the economic value of that system, okay? And so that's cool. So you have $1, you have 1%. Sorry, you have $1, you have 10% of the economy. That's your purchasing power. You have 10% of the available money supply, right? Well, when the government comes in and decides to spend money on things they don't have money for, what they'll do is they'll print money, and they'll take a little bit of the value of the existing money to give it to the new money. So for example, in our example, we had $10 in existence. If they double the money supply and go to $20 in existence, you still have your $1, but your $1 that used to represent 10% of the economy now only represents 5% of the economy. Okay, so you got debased. They basically took 5% of your 10, and if you look at it just strictly from your perspective, they took 50% of your purchasing power without having to do anything with force. Like, they didn't have to go into your bank account and take your money. They didn't have to go and arrest you or anything like that. All they did was expand the money supply. And when they do that, they lower the purchasing power of your savings. And when they do that, you lose purchasing power, right? Now think about it. What did you have to do to earn that dollar? Let's say you had to work, and we're talking about an economy that only has $10. Okay, so $1 represents 10% of the economy. So let's say you had to work for 20 years to earn that dollar, right? And after you work 20 years to earn that dollar, you're getting ready to retire off your $1. And the money supply expands. Now your purchasing power of that dollar is only 50 cents. So that means that they just deleted 10 years of your life. They just deleted 10 years of your savings by increasing the money supply. Okay, I mean, that's an extreme example, but they're doing this daily, right? When the money supply expands, right, and they're always spending on things that they don't have money for, right? Our taxes don't cover those expenditures. We're still spending at a deficit. Even our interest on the national debt is over $1 trillion every quarter, or I think it's every month at this point. It's insane. So that goes to show you that the money supply continues to increase, and the same thing happens in that $10 economy as the existing economy, right? Wherever we're at now, I think we're at, like, where are we at? Let me see. We are at, I think we just hit we're at $37 trillion in debt. Okay, and that's going up at about $100,000 every 2 seconds or every 3 seconds, something like that, right? So no matter how hard you work, no matter how many jobs you have, and how good you are at your job, how well educated you are, you're not going to be able to produce enough income that can outrun how fast they're printing the money. And so you're caught. You're either getting poorer fast because you don't have a good job and you don't have a good education, or you're getting poorer slow because you have a good job and you have a good education, right? Like, the outcome still, if you're saving in dollars, is not that you're going to get rich. It's not that you're going to get better off. What you're fighting for at this point is, how slowly am I going to get rich? I'm sorry, how slowly am I going to get poor? Like, how am I going to get poor fast, or am I going to get poor slowly? Is it going to take me 5 years to get poor? It's going to take me 30 years to get debased. It depends, right? So what we do here, that is the problem. That is the problem with the Bitcoin fixes. That is the problem we're trying to articulate here on the show. Real quick, shout out, round of applause from the live studio audience for Mr. Carl Black in the house. Also for Koji Monster. What up, dude? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming in here and slapping that like button. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's bring it together. Okay, that's the problem. That's the issue that Bitcoin fixes. That's one of the issues that Bitcoin fixes. Okay, so what we do is we simply take the value of the savings that you want to hold for long term, and instead of holding it in cash, which again is susceptible to being debased because it can print more money, right? We take that value and we set it into Bitcoin. What that does for you is it shields, since Bitcoin is a fixed supply and you can't expand the amount that exists. Once you own a percentage of the Bitcoin network, once you own a percentage of the Bitcoin pie, that percentage is going to stay the same. So you won't be debased, because there can never be more than 21 million Bitcoin, right? And that sounds like a little insignificant thing, like, who cares? It's just, who cares, right? But it's super important, because when you put it against any money, I'm talking about dollars, pesos, euros, everything, any government money can be printed out of thin air, right? They print it and you have to work for it, and on top of that, they charge you taxes on your income, right? So anyway, they print it, you work for it, right? We take the value that we earn to our normal job, to our normal business, and we take the money that we don't need immediately to pay our rent or car payment or whatever, our expenses. The money that we need to save for long term, we save it in Bitcoin. And when we do that, that money is now growing faster than the debasement of the dollar. And so your savings end up growing and becoming like an asset, right? And you can start with like $5, $20 a week. It sounds like it's nothing, right? $20 a week might be a lot for somebody in a different country, but in the United States, $20 is not a big deal. It's not a lot of money. If you take $20 a week, say $20 a week, seems insignificant. I know it's probably less than you spend on a meal, but it will add up to something significant, and it'll become an asset that you can eventually take loans against and do all kinds of stuff with. But you'll have options. That's what it gives you, right? Not only that, as the value of your savings increase, it does the opposite of what inflation is doing for you. Instead of stealing 10 years of your life out of the 20, it might be giving you 10 years of your life. And what does that mean? I only have a certain amount of life. No, yeah, what I mean is it's giving you your time back so that you can spend your time on this planet doing things you want to do instead of working for somebody else to try to produce value so you can eventually retire, right? Bitcoin helps you get closer to your retirement goal without having to do that much extra work. Okay, stay tuned. Make sure you keep watching because we're going to show you guys the spreadsheet that I've had for the past 2 years, 1 month, and 3 days, I think. Okay, where I show you guys how I went from $14,000. Well, over the past couple of years, we've been saving about $14,000, and now it's worth about $28,000. Okay, it's crazy. And all I did was buy Bitcoin, like I'm going to do today on the show. Every Monday through Friday, I do it on the show here. I buy Bitcoin, $20 a day. We started with 5, moved it to 10. Now we're doing 20, right? But still, it's documented not only in my spreadsheet, but through videos on YouTube. If you're following me on YouTube, stackbitcoinshow.com, you can see where we started May 22nd, 2023. We started buying Bitcoin with $5 purchases, and we kept going, and we were consistent, and we didn't care what the price was. When the price went down, we bought our stack. When the price went up and we were super happy and ecstatic, we still bought our Bitcoin. When the price continued to go sideways at 58K forever, we still kept buying because we committed to the regular purchase, right? Because what I understood at the time, and now of course, is that we're not saving to see the dollar value go up. We're saving to collect as much of the Bitcoin network as we can. We want the biggest percentage of the Bitcoin network to be in our wallet. Okay, and the more Bitcoin you own, the sooner you'll be able to retire. It's like a force multiplier, right? Like if you're holding half a Bitcoin, right? That's $50,000 right now, right? And Bitcoin jumps up to 200,000, then you have a $100,000 asset, right? If you hold 2 Bitcoins, and if you already have 2 Bitcoins, right? Then the price goes up to $200,000, and you have $400,000, right? Like the more you accumulate now while it's cheap, and when I say cheap, I mean cheap relative to 4 years from now, 8 years from now, right? 4 years from now, you're gonna look back just like I look back at 2 years from now when I started the show. 2 years from now when I started the show, the price of Bitcoin was like $23,000 or $25,000, and I thought I was I was doing great by buying $5 purchases, right? Now the only regret I have is from those days is not doing $20 purchases. And if I did the $20 purchases and I came back to today, I probably still have the regret of not doing like $40 purchases or $50 purchases Monday through Friday, right? Because now I understand how it works. Okay. And as far as the whole system, how the dollar system works and how the Bitcoin continues to work, nothing has changed from 2 years ago. Yeah, we have a different person in office, but it doesn't matter who it is, Republicans or Democrats, they still both print money, right? They do it for different purposes, but they would still both print money and keep the money printers going that debase you. Okay, so that thesis hasn't changed. Okay, and Bitcoin obviously hasn't changed because that's the whole point. It doesn't change. So the same environment that took us from a $14,000 savings to a $28,000 savings in the past 2 years will take us to the next step in the next few years, right? Unless something drastically different happens, like we stop printing money, which I doubt we can't. The rate at which our interest is growing on our national debt, there's no way to stop it, right? The interest rate guarantees that we continue to print money. So if the printing is continued and is guaranteed, then therefore so is the price of Bitcoin guaranteed to go up, because it's a reflection of the lowered purchasing power of the dollar. So as you continue to print the dollar, it lowers the purchasing price of the dollar. So the purchasing power of the dollar, and as the purchasing power of the dollar comes down, it shows in the prices of everything else, including Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is the best performing out of all the things you can own besides real estate and all that stuff, right? It performs better than all that stuff. So, and it's the least maintenance, right? You just have to buy it, take custody of it, and call it a day. You can hold it for a day, or you can hold it for 10 years, 100 years. It's not going to cost you anything extra just to hold it. And that's the beauty of it, right? There's no cost associated with just being a saver. And that's the whole point. That's what the money should have been doing in the first place, but it's not, because it continued to debase us. Anyway, let's wrap up this Why We Stack segment, okay? With the following statement, which is something we do on every episode, just to tidy up this very segment. Why we stack. Why do we save in Bitcoin? If we were on the street and you saw my Bitcoin shirt, I don't have one on today, but you saw my Bitcoin sweater back there, and you said, "Oh, Bitcoin, I've heard about that." Tell you what, tell me why you think I should be saving in Bitcoin between floor 1 and floor 2, and go. And I only have like 30 seconds to a minute, right? Here's what I would say. Okay, I would leave you with this. We save in Bitcoin because saving in Bitcoin is like traveling back in time and giving yourself a perpetually increasing retroactive raise for the hours you've already worked for as long as you hold the Bitcoin that represents those hours. Okay, I know it's a super dense statement. I repeat it on every episode because it's the most consolidated, most boiled down version of books and podcasts and everything that I've done research on and I've learned and understood. That is the clearest, most concise way I can say it, and it's a super dense statement. So I want you to maybe watch the replay or listen to it and dissect it. And if you have any questions, come back. I'm here Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. Ask your questions, and we will discuss those. Okay. But yeah, that is the Why We Stack segment. Let's move on to the next topic of the show, and that is, of course, the stack recap. And let's get it kicked off. Here we go. Stack recap, because we don't only talk about stacking Bitcoin here Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. We actually do it, and here is the proof that we're doing it. If you want to watch the spreadsheets that I'm putting up here on the screen on YouTube, go to stackbitcoinshow.com, watch us on YouTube, and you can see what I'm referring to. Otherwise, I'm going to speak it out as far as possible with the most detail as I can to keep you guys engaged, okay? So, the way we track our Bitcoin buys here on the show is we have a Google Sheet, and on that sheet, I have all the prices that we've purchased at, the dates, how much Bitcoin we bought, how much in dollars, and how much Bitcoin we got in terms of Bitcoin. And then we have the weighted average, we have the average cost, and we have the actual price of Bitcoin currently. And I can show you exactly on the screen that in 2025, we purchased so far $4,100 worth of Bitcoin. Okay, that $4,100 worth of Bitcoin so far has accumulated for us 0.44242 Bitcoin. Let's leave it at that. That Bitcoin today, about 6 months and 24 days into the year, has grown 14.29%. That $41,000 investment is now worth $4,685. So it went from $4,100 to $4,687. Okay, it's for a gain of about 14.34%. That's just this year. Okay, most investment portfolios, most Roths, most IRAs, most like investment groups are not going to make you like even 10%, right? So this has already got us 14.34% right now, and Bitcoin has been a little bit down lately from the all-time high. Okay, so let's keep it going. In 2024, we also tracked that year separately, just in case somebody new joins the show and they start to learn about Bitcoin. I don't want them to get discouraged. I don't want you to get discouraged if you just found us and you're just learning about Bitcoin. Okay. In 2024, we started a spreadsheet just for that year, and just in 2024, buying $20 Monday through Friday, sometimes more, we saved $7,345.47. Okay, that got us 0.122422217 Bitcoin. That Bitcoin today is worth $12,970. So it's up 76%. Okay, in 1 year. Some of the buys less than a year. Okay, but the point is that our savings, if I was just to have saved $7,345 in cash, have it in a bank account somewhere, collecting less than 1% interest, or I saved it in Bitcoin instead, and now my $7,345 is worth $12,970. So if you don't see the benefit there, I'm not sure I can help you. I'm sorry. Right? Like, if you don't get that in the span of a year, my savings grew 76% by only doing one thing. Well, two things. One thing was buying Bitcoin instead of saving in dollars. And the second thing was taking the Bitcoin off the exchange and taking it into my own custody, right? And for that piece, you can learn that a little bit later. But the point here for the show today is just to get you to understand that it's worth just to start saving in Bitcoin. Even if you don't take custody yet, you'll get to that step eventually, okay? But it's as easy as one step. Sign up on Strike. Okay, go to stackbitcoinshow.com. That'll take you to my Strike referral link, and that'll get you zero fees for your first $500 worth of Bitcoin buys, which is a sweet deal. Okay. Anyway, so that is the stack recap for 2024. Let's do the stack recap for the whole lifespan of the show. Remember, the show started May 22nd, 2023. We started on YouTube, right? We just recently started doing the streams here on TikTok to expand the audience a little bit and bring this information to a new audience. But on May 22nd, 2023, the Bitcoin price was $27,360. And on that day, we bought $5 worth of Bitcoin. The idea was, instead of spending $5 on Starbucks every weekday on the way to work or whatever, I'm going to take those $5 and save Bitcoin instead. Okay. If you do that for Starbucks, if you do that at Starbucks, what is it? 52 weeks? Is it 52 weeks in a 52 weeks times 5 days a week? Whoa. 52 times 5 days a week times $5. $1,300 is what you would spend buying a $5 Starbucks every day of the year, every weekday of the year. So $1,300, right? Those $1,300 are going to serve you better in Bitcoin, right? Anyway, so that buy was for $5, and now that one buy is worth $19.08. Okay, and then we did it, of course, the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, right? But on the screen here we have our $14,909 worth of savings has turned into $29,029, just like that, right? Again, all I did was buy the Bitcoin, as you can see on all of our episodes, and I track it. That's it. And I just keep track of it. And when the price of Bitcoin goes up or down, I don't care. I'm committed to my dollar cost average schedule, which is $20 minimum Monday through Friday. And as long as I continue to do that, I mean, the performance is there. Okay, so we went from $14,909 to $29,029 right now at the current price of Bitcoin for a 94.7% up increase or gain. Okay, so that's great. That's great. What in your investment portfolio today has given you 94% gains in the past 2 years? So in the 2-year window, what investment that you've done has given you a 94% gain in a 2-year window? If you can tell me something that's done better than that, I'm all ears. I want to know, right? But if you can't, then you need to look at what you're investing in. Are you investing in your 401k at work and your IRA at work? Should you, right? If you look at the report, at the summary, the quarterly report on your investment portfolio, and you see that you're only up 8%, 9%, right? You're losing value. You're never going to retire on that 401k or on that IRA, because if you're not beating 10% gains year over year, which is a true inflation rate, right? The true inflation rate, they say it's 2 point something percent. They're saying it's below 3% CPI, right? But the CPI doesn't measure things that are hard to make, like food, eggs, milk, gas, and housing, right? It doesn't measure that. So they're not giving you an honest assessment of what the inflation rate is, right? The real rate of inflation is somewhere near 10%. Okay. So if your investments are not making you at least 10% or more, you're actually getting poorer by holding those assets. So it could be your real estate. It could be like you can say like, oh yeah, well I have a rental home, or I have some rental units that I'm making cash flow on, right? I'm getting paid the rents from my renters, and I pay for the insurance. I pay for the repairs. I pay the taxes every year on the property, and by the end of the year, I'm grossing free and clear. I have a profit about 4 or 5% on that property. So you feel like you're getting wealthier, right? But you're not. You're getting wealthier from your perspective. Yeah, you have 5% more than you had before, but when you factor in inflation, that's really around 10%. You're actually getting poorer slower. Okay, you're getting poorer slower by holding on to those properties that are only yielding you 5%, even 6% year over year in gains, right? You have to invest your savings. You have to invest in assets that are growing faster than inflation in order to beat inflation. So if you're not beating 10% on your portfolio, any portfolio, it could be your stocks, it could be your bonds, for sure not bonds. You're going to lose on bonds, okay? Let's look at bonds. Let's say they give you 10, I don't even think they'll give you 10%. Let's say we give 5%, guaranteed 5% on a 10-year bond, okay? That means that, let's keep it simple. We'll use small numbers. You invest $100 into a 10-year 5% bond. That means that after they hold your money for 10, I can't resist the urge to laugh. After they hold your money for 10 years, they're going to give you $105 back, right? They're going to give you $105 back after 10 years. Okay. Okay. So not only is $5 not worth a 10-year wait, but what will that $5 buy you in the future, right? What will your original $100 plus a $105? What will that buy you 10 years from now, right? What do you think the prices are going to be 10 years from now? You think right now you can barely get out of a restaurant with we go eat with the fam, and there's 4 of us, 2 adults and 2 kids, right? And on average, the tab is like $80, right? $80 to $100 depending on the place, right? Yeah, I'm in California, okay, but that's right now. What's $100 going to buy you in 10 years? Okay, probably like a side of something, a side of mashed potatoes, some mac and cheese for the kids, $100 mac and cheese for the kids. Okay, and the whole time, the whole 10 years you waited in that bond, waiting for your 5% return, you are not gaining the gains that you would have had if you had put that money into Bitcoin. Okay, let's say you take that same $100 and Bitcoin continues on its tear of about 50% gains year over year, right? Year 2, you've already doubled your money. You have $200 worth of value instead of $1, right? It's like after the first couple of years, you doubled your money. What happens at year 3? It's 50% of the 200, right? And then 50% after that, and then 50% after that for 10 years. Okay, you'll be doing a lot better just by holding Bitcoin than by investing in, like I said, stocks. Unless you pick one specific stock and you have like the insight and you know what you're doing, but that's so rare. It's like 1% of 1% of people that are that good at trading can get those kind of returns, right? For the rest of us mortals that have a life and family and want to enjoy our lives and not be in front of the computer all the time trying to figure out trade strategies and imagine that we can beat billions of dollars worth of technology and bots and access, to think that one as an individual trader could beat that system, like you're kidding yourself. You're kidding yourself, right? So we avoid all that trading stuff. We avoid all of the side stuff, all of the 401k, IRAs, even other coins. We don't invest in any other cryptos here. No altcoins, none of them. They're all poop. We don't invest in any of those things, okay? We just buy Bitcoin, we hold the Bitcoin, and that's it. And in the end, 2 years later, so far on our channel with proof and everything, so far 2 years later, we're doing pretty good. We're almost up 100%. We're almost doubled our money. And when the price of Bitcoin was like a new all-time high earlier, we did double our money. We're at one point we're like 107%, but now we're down to 94%. Who cares? I don't care. What hasn't changed here, the most important thing for me at this point is that the number that represents how much Bitcoin I'm holding continues to go up. Right now, I don't care if it goes down 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. I don't care. I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to continue to buy and just continue to grow my percentage of the Bitcoin network that I control. Okay. And it doesn't have to be a lot. Okay. You don't have to go for 1% of the network. That's a lot, right? But you can have your little fraction, and that fraction will always be the same. Your little piece of that Bitcoin network is always going to be consistent. And that means that the purchasing power of that network, the purchasing power of that value will continue to go up. Anyway, what happened? I think I just blacked out for a second. Let's go to, let's continue the stack recap. Okay, we're done with the stats. We're done with the numbers. Let's see, in 2025, our average buy price is $95,659. And since today, the price of Bitcoin is $106,000, we're going to buy $20 worth of Bitcoin. Sometimes we'll buy a little bit more when the price of Bitcoin is below our average purchase price for 2025. But today it's not. So today we're going to buy $20 worth here on the show right now. Actually, let's see if Strike took me off of the naughty list for stacking too close to the sun. Let me check it real quick. Come on, Strike. Look a brother up. Am I still banned? Bye. Yep, still banned. I gotta wait 3 to 5 business days before I can stack with them. All right, no worries. I have my alternate stacking resource. Let me get that queued up, and then we'll queue up the segment. Okay, let's see here. Is this it? Yeah. There it is. I'm ready to go. Is it clickable? Okay, we're back. All right, we're buying today. We're buying $20 worth of Bitcoin. So let's queue up the segment now that I have the thing ready to purchase. And let's go to right here. Now that we know how much Bitcoin we're going to buy, $20 worth. There's only one thing left to do. Gonna stack some Bitcoin, baby. All right, I have the purchasing app queued up. I'm gonna hit the $20. Click buy Bitcoin. Approve the purchase, and hit buy now. So let it rock. If you guys have any questions in the chat over on TikTok, please let me know. I appreciate you guys tuning in and being in here. I'm here to help, guys. So feel free to ask away. Okay. All right. The purchase has been completed. Drum roll. Purchase is done. Let's update the spreadsheet with this buy by switching over to the spreadsheet. Let's see. Spreadsheet right here. There it is. Browser. Boom. And today's purchase is, today is 6/24/25, and the price of Bitcoin we deserve today on a Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Is it Taco Tuesday? Oh yes, love me some tacos, guys. Taco Tuesday. 106. The price of Bitcoin we deserve today is $106,377. We bought $20 worth of that Bitcoin, and that got us 0.0001880 Bitcoin, 18,801 fractions of a Bitcoin, 18,801 Satoshis. Crazy. Okay, I'm going to take that data and put it on the next on the tracking sheet for the whole show. Here we go. The proof of stack, the proof of saving in Bitcoin. Here we go. 6/24. Bam, bam. Okay, there it is. And our final total for today, after stacking Bitcoin for 2 years. Yeah, for 2 years, 1 month, 102 days, the final value of our holdings, or the final amount, is 0.3776619. So it's about $40,000 worth of value right now. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Not bad for a rinky-dink show here on the internet. Saving slow and steady, guys. You can do it. It's easy. It's doable. If you have any questions on TikTok, comment on any of my videos. I'll respond to you immediately. And if it's too long of a response, I'll probably even make a video for you to respond to you in a video. Okay? I will not reach out to you via DMs ever. Okay? If you reach out to me, I'll respond sometimes. I think I'm not sure if it's open or not. But I will never reach out to you to sell you anything or to pitch you on anything. Okay? If I do come out with a service, like for example, if you need help setting up your wallet from scratch, I can help you do that. That's a service I offer, but I will not reach out to you to offer you the service via DMs. It would only be if you reach out to me first, or something like that. Okay? Or if I announce it with a specific URL here on the page through this account or on my YouTube account. Okay? All right, so that is the purchase for the show. That is pretty much the conclusion of the show, guys. We're gonna open it up to questions. I'm looking through. I was working with a ChatGPT last night to try to figure out cool ways to display the data that we have on the spreadsheet, because the spreadsheet is pretty cool. I mean, our spreadsheet is pretty cool. We have a lot of data here on the spreadsheet, and there's got to be different ways to be able to use that data to create charts, and maybe even just an optimized way to display what we're trying to show here, which is the opportunity cost of saving in dollars as opposed to saving in Bitcoin, right? When you save in Bitcoin, you're gaining. Pipeline Podcast in the house. What up, dude? Round of applause from the live studio audience for Pipeline Podcast. Yo, dude, I'm 30 minutes late. No worries. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you showing up and smacking that like button. Tap the hearts. Do what you can to stimulate the algorithm. So no paycheck 6 years ago bought me. Sorry. So one paycheck 6 years ago bought me nearly a year of my net. Bro, that's exactly. It's exactly it right there. It's exactly it right there. Pipeline Podcast says, so one paycheck 6 years ago bought me nearly a year of my net salary. 6 years ago was a long time, dude. That's like a cycle and a half in terms of Bitcoin. Even crazier, my first Social Security contribution taken out of my gross pay 6 years ago, 129 would be worth 3,400 for a month of net income. Yeah. That's wild. That's wild. So we're not, this is not a get rich quick scheme, guys. This is a don't get poor scheme. Right. All right. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. Carlos Aramillo in the house. What up, Carlos? DCA to BTC in the house. All right, guys. That's a wrap. I think I have so I might have some cool charts to show you guys to incorporate in the show. It'd be kind of cool. Also, I'm gonna start making edited videos here on the channel that are not a live stream, because it's hard to grow an audience just on live streams. I've been doing some research. I mean, come on, guys. We're 2 years in and we only have 371 subscribers. I think it's a discoverability thing, right? I think the information we're sharing is good. I think the process that we're doing is good. I think a lot of people out there are interested in just learning about Bitcoin and nothing else, and avoiding all the pitfalls of getting into Bitcoin. And I think I just need to be more deliberate in my presentation of that information in the form of like evergreen videos. So like dedicating like a 5-minute, 8-minute video to a specific thing about Bitcoin. That way people start to discover the channel through that process, and then they can stick around for the live streams, for the journey, right? So we've proven it to ourselves. We've proven it to the community that we are here. We're consistent. We're doing the thing that we're promoting, and it's more importantly, it is working, right? It's working, right? Like, I don't think it's something wrong with the show itself. I don't think it's something wrong with what we're doing with the content, with the quality, right? Yeah, I'm not the best speaker, I'm not the best presenter, but who wouldn't be interested in seeing their savings increase by 100% over a couple of years? Like, that's like, it almost sounds like it's a scam. Almost, that's like, nah, that's like unbelievable territory. That's like, yeah, but it's true, right? But it's true. So we got to get that message to people that need it. And so I'm going to do. We don't try. There is no try. Do or do not. There is no try. So I'm going to do some edited videos, and I'll probably do a version here on TikTok as well, guys, of edited videos. And I'll just kind of keep it under 10 minutes. It's pretty easy, but I gotta do more specific ones instead of just doing the live streams. I don't want to do the same problem I have on YouTube. Okay, so that's it, guys. We're gonna continue to grow the channel, slow and steady. I think once we get to 500 subscribers on YouTube, we'll be able to unlock monetization, and that'll be a self-fulfilling, like, not prophecy, but like a little flywheel that'll help us get to 1 Bitcoin, because that's the goal, right? The goal is to document the process of getting to 1 Bitcoin via this channel, via starting this channel on YouTube and stacking our way to 1 Bitcoin, and with the help of the monetization functions of making it a business, right? The business of saving in Bitcoin and educating people on saving in Bitcoin. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Stacked Bitcoin Show. I hope you did. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another one. But until then, remember, if you ain't stacking, you're slacking. Bye, guys. Don't let the politicians devalue your labor. That's right. Shout out. Thanks to Hard Hodl, Carlos Aramillo in the house, Pipeline Podcast, Koji Monster. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Also, Mr. Carl Black. Let's go. All right, guys. Have a good one.